Morning, everybody. How you all doing? It is Saturday, the 8th of August. It's almost another birthday for me. If it's not clear where my mind is at this morning, you're blind because it's ready. It's time for some football, baby. That Hall of Fame game was on just the Thursday. It was on Thursday. I saw some of it. I didn't see it all. Shit, it's too late. Look, man, I'm getting old. By what is that? 8:30, 9:30. My ass is out for the count for real, for real. Every now and again, I may stay up a little later. I don't know what's going on in my mind, but I can't turn it off. So I might get caught up on that. But for the most part, cancel Christmas 8:30, 9:30. My Eastern Standard. My ass is out. So we have a full show slated for today. Number of things going on. Thomas brought up an excellent point. He wanted to talk about violence, homegrown, domestic violence, molestation, so on and so forth. We're going to parse that out. The molestation part, we're going to put that into another show. But we're going to talk about the physical violence in the home. Rashi wanted to talk about the food recalls and the like that are going on. There's been a huge spike in those here recently, and she definitely wanted to talk about that. There are there were some tight races decided on Tuesday. I was specifically looking at Michigan. The Muslim cat pulled it out. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I have it written down. I'll go to that in a second. But he pulled it out. It was a bitter battle within the Democratic Party, but he is the nominee moving forward. The Republican had a very easy path forward. I don't even think he was opposed. So he's been sitting line and wait for some time. And we'll see how that washes out. Obviously, we know Michigan is a battleground state, so we were keeping our eyes on that. The young brother down in Tennessee pulled it out in the ninth district in Tennessee. So that was the gerrymandered district that was just redrawn by the Republicans, and he won the nomination down there to move forward. So we'll look at those races. Tennessee is highly Republican, though. I was looking at the gubernatorial counts. I don't know, man. There's a lot of registered Republicans in Tennessee, and the registered Democrats do not measure up at all. But I don't know if that's one of those states like here in Georgia where when you vote, if you choose to vote, but you need to choose to vote because depending on the state you're in, they can freaking remove you from the voter rolls if you don't vote. Uh, you have to vote party line in the primary, but not necessarily the general. So we'll see. We'll see how those things play. It was a busy week for me. It was a full week for me in more ways than one. You know, life be life, and life really does be life. And this was definitely a week when life. But, I'm here. I'm in good spirits, well rested. Good Lord, I slept like a freaking rock last night. I don't know why I was so tired last night, but I was tired. I got a great sleep last night. Hopefully, you all slept well as well. And welcome to the weekend. I tried to cut my grass this morning, so I told you all before I have the battery operated lawnmower, self-propelled battery operated lawnmower, and I think I went out a little too early. It was maybe a little too much dew or whatever, because the battery looked like it was fully charged on the charger. Yet I get my ass out there. I was out there for about 10 minutes, and the battery died. Two though, grass. I ain't been home to cut it, so grass is kind of hot. So I decided to come back. I have two sets. Decided to come back in. The other set was charged. I have the first set on the charger now. So right after the show, it won't be hot, but I'm gonna get my ass out there and cut the grass. Hopefully, it's a little more dry, and I can get much more of it done. Even if I have to stop again and finish the rest of it later, I'm cool with that. But it needs to get done. Like it needs to get done. I'm very much concerned. Well, that's not true. I guess the my vacation will be similar to uh, my traveling over the past couple of weeks. To be honest with you, because I mean I'll be gone for a while, but I ain't gonna be gone like forever. I just know when I come back, I'm gonna have to cut the grass. I'm gonna have to cut the grass before I leave, without a doubt, and then I'm gonna have to cut it again when I come back. this whole fine and shit when your grass get too high and yada yada yada. It's out of hand. It's ridiculous, but I understand that it keeps the rodents away. It keeps mosquitoes at bay. So, speaking of, I finally figured out a damn way to get rid of these spiders naturally. Now I gotta go to the store today, get me a little spray bottle. I'm gonna get some. I already have some vinegar. So the formula that I looked up online yesterday was white vinegar, water, spray bottle, and just spray it around. Because spiders, I guess, don't like citrus or the vinegar smell or whatever. So I'm gonna lay that shit there. Hell, I might not even cut it, son. I ain't even gonna lie, man. I got so many damn spiders near my crib. It's ridiculous, and it's not like I have a freaking forest out front, or nor out. Well, I do have a forest out back, but that's like a ways away. It's not like right at the damn. As soon as you walk out. So yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Like these motherfuckers then came and did a whole damn spider web across my damn steps. I then came back home, walking up and stuff like, oh, it's real thin, so you don't always see it. These motherfuckers trying to clothesline me like we in the WWE or some shit. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous, dog. I'm like, son, and I go out. Not every week. I won't say that. I won't even say every month, but every couple of weeks, I'll go out. Every few weeks, I'll go out and I'll take the broom and I'll do the windows on the outside and wherever I see them and knock them down. Boom, boom. Them sons of guns will come right back in 2, 3 days. Like they like, yo, what are you trying to do? We live here, son. I'm like, no, son, I live here, son. You visiting? Nah, son, you visiting. We live here. This is ridiculous. It is absolute. This is the first house I've ever lived in that it's like that. This is horrible. I can't say it's horrible, but the fight is real. It's a real struggle out here against these damn spiders, and I'm determined to win. I'm the motherfucker to pay the bills around this bitch, not them. This is some bullshit. It is ridiculous. I don't know about you. I don't know where you live. It is one of the issues that I have by living in the goddamn woods because I live in the goddamn woods. Not gonna lie. Talking to my uncle yesterday. He goes, "Hey, Nap, I'm coming down." I'm like, "No, you ain't." Yes, I am. I'm gonna be in Augusta. Oh, Augusta from my house is like 3.5 hours, dog. That's not around the corner. That's like driving back to New York from Baltimore. Like, that's not around the corner, son. That's not something that I would get off work and do and then turn right back around and drive right back. Because the visit would be extremely short. That makes no sense to me. Hey, dog, you retired. You ain't got no damn job. Why don't you fly into Atlanta and then go from Atlanta to Augusta? You ain't got nothing to do. And he goes, I hate it when you're right, but you're right. Like, dude, come on now. You killing me, son. You killing me. You know what I mean? But that's the difference. So let me finish that point. Then I'm welcoming Sister Rashi properly. So when we were talking, he was like, "Yeah, I'm googling it right now." But I said, "Oh, you been to my house before? Remember we talked about that last time you was at my house when you put that Google shit on, and then you was driving up." He said, "Yeah, I remember now. I remember that. Yeah, because I thought I was going to Douglasville. Dude, where the hell do you live?" I said, "Man, I do live in Douglasville. I just live on the outer limits of Douglasville." He said, "No, you live in outer space." Don't be disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful. You came to my house. You not to be disrespectful. You know what I mean? But that's what it is. Morning, Sister Rashi. How you doing? Did you go? Did you go back yet?
No, not quite. I think it's going to happen either next week or definitely the week after that. I think next week, sometime next week, somebody they already just started the damn emails though. But I just look at them. I don't look at the email. I look at the. It's still black. You know when your email ain't been touched, it's bold black.
Right.
And I ain't unbolded it. I just keep looking. If it don't put the point, if they don't put the point in the subject bar thing, I'm not clicking on that shit. I click on it on the clock. On the clock. We click on the clock. We don't click clack on off the clock. But yes, I am gearing myself up. But more importantly, uh, I'm trying. This is not going to be an easy year for me, so I'm trying to. I'm finna try to springline some stuff and get it. Not springline, streamline
Premium.
some stuff and get it to where it operates I mean, I'm already mostly there, but I was mostly there in a school that I know in my classroom because I've had
Okay.
the same classroom for about 2 years now, almost 3 years. So I know where to go. They put me in the, I'm a troll. They threw me in the corner. So
Hmm.
now that's not where I am, and that's not where I'll be this year. I'm fortunate and afraid that my school is being built as I speak. My new job is actually being constructed now, like
Nice.
literally right now. They are working on there,
Nice.
and it is less than 4 blocks away from my house. I could crawl.
That
I
was the
could
question I was going
literally.
to ask you.
I could knock the bottle over, crawl out the bed, and crawl right into the classroom. But that transition it's gonna be a moving year. So children, they don't act right when you move them and you move apartments. They don't even for real act right when they move on up from the apartment to the house. They just
Right.
some flux. Change in flux is hard for it's part it tap into the black trauma experience, and it don't work for the person who's trying to do the change or for the person who's undergoing the change. You understand? So I'm a
Hmm.
little worried this year that it's going to be almost a throwaway year. Not throwaway because I don't think I'm going to be teaching anything. That's not it. But the amount of change and flux that we have to go through is going to make it an atypical learning year. And people gonna be tomorrow. How he supposed to remember his homework if we don't even know which building to go to, you know? So I'm
Mm.
looking forward to seeing how, because I've never seen it. I've never shifted buildings before. I'm looking forward to see how my district handles growth, because technically this is growth. This is be a growth stretch. We went because we got $500 million.
Okay. That's
And so,
nice.
yeah, we bonded for $500 million. And so, what this building that we got that I'm be going to is I think about 100 million of the 500 400, so almost 500 million. But it's a double-edged sword, meaning my school is going to be brand new and shiny, but it's not just going to be our school. It's also going to be a welcoming center. It's going to be like a
Okay.
depot for children. It's our foreign language hub. It's our foreigners hub.
Okay.
So even if you from another place, most of the translators and shit are gonna be in our building, and
Mm.
they'll be surfaced. They'll be put to other schools from our building. So we're gonna get a lot of foot traffic from people who have no intention. It's gonna be a very interesting transition for me this year. However, I was told my classroom is gonna be very nice. They
Okay.
already put, the water's been put in there because it ain't nothing for a Kansas City science lab not to have no water. So look, don't get to look. Us in Detroit got a similar argument. I don't know if you've been clocking the argument between the Detroit Public School District and some of the parents, but we got a very, very similar problem here in Kansas City. So we've been trying to address it, and I'm gearing myself up, Brother Lee. I really am. I'm trying to get excited about the matter. I went from fifth, I did open one email where they told me I went from sixth grade to fifth grade. I don't know if that's smart for me. I don't think I'm for the younger somebody is, the harder they have, the harder it is to deal with me.
I got you. So, bro, Jamar gave you your props. He said, "You'll lead the pack, Rashi. We got good faith in you. So, we know you're
Yeah.
gonna get them
I mean, I
straight."
know because I've been tempered. They called me a stupid ass bitch twice a day last year. And so I'm tempered. I'm ready. I mean, I actually miss it a little bit. I had to get up this morning and say, hey, dumbass. Hell no, dumbass bitch. But most importantly, uh, my coworkers, I'm going to tap in and see where they at because we lost 10 of them out of a crew of less than 50. We
They
lost 10.
retired.
They retired. They quit. Two of them got sick. One of them, well, one of them actually pretty much died. I ain't gonna try to be funny. She pretty much died, and she can't come back. Uh, and a couple of white ladies tapped out on us. We had random little black boys with the screen, with the the active black boy, and ran a couple of them white ladies off. And and so what we getting new, the girls are black women who wear them onesies at work. You know what I'm talking about? Them they at work in them little thing, them little body con outfits.
How do y'all take them things off to use the bathroom? I
And I don't
always
ask me. I
wondered
don't put them wrestling outfits on. I'm too big to be looking like mucho lucho. But what we hire instead are people who are new to the game. So we got a learning curve coming up. We got people who don't even understand what caliber of children they finna deal with.
that. Right,
And I teach in a distressed community. I teach at a community school within a distressed community.
right.
So we don't get to say, you can't come up in here with your hair like that or with them things on. Or oh look, go. We just have to give them the face towel. We don't get to confront them about the shit on their face. That's not how you do that. You have to just give them the towel. So
Hmm.
because of the community I live and work in, it's gonna be different, and I'm looking forward to seeing how I personally grow because I ain't never shifted schools before mid year. About this time, we only gonna be in the building that I'm finna go to 2.5 months. We
And
shift,
then you're supposed to move to the new
and
building.
then we shift into our new building. Okay, wait, August, September, October, November, 3 months. We'll be in there 3 months.
Okay.
But
So you all plan on moving after or before
we move for
Thanksgiving?
we Christmas holiday break. We move.
Okay,
We're gonna move holiday break. So that even in itself mean I can't. I don't even get to for real decorate my classroom. For what?
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
And so
That
and
doesn't
so
make any
now
sense.
now you a 10-year old in a partially decorated classroom with a teacher with 1 foot out the door and 1 foot in. You understand?
I don't think the kids care that much though.
Oh
I don't
yes,
think
they
they
do.
care about the
Oh
decoration.
yes, they do. Let me tell you the difference between a classroom that has been, I call it fairyland decorated. I don't do that shit, but I know what I'm talking about. Where it's engaging material on every wall,
Okay,
and like,
that's what
and
you're talking
it's
about. I
like,
got you.
right, that means something. If a child keep looking up at that blank wall, that you get blank answers.
I got you.
You have to put in spring love. So I'm not finna do this twice. Put it all up in August, take it all down in December, put it right back up in January, take it back down in May.
So is the plan or plot for you then that you'll put up whatever subject matter you're going to cover up until that point, and that'll be it. So they have something not only to look at now, but also to look toward before you get, because that's going to be the next thing you cover. Because some kids are sharper than others, and they may play like they're on the same level as everybody else, but they're actually not. So it would behoove them if they had something else to look at, so at least they can start getting themselves prepared either emotionally or mentally for that next thing that's coming. That's why I'm asking, is your plan to put stuff on the wall to cover up
I
until
don't
that
even
point?
have a plan for that. I really don't know what. I don't think any of the walls gonna get touched. If anything, I'm gonna try to get like interactive handhelds, like the little skeletons or something like that. I don't know, but I'm not gonna get up on no chair and start hot gluing shit on a wall for three
That you have
months.
to take down in a couple
No,
months. I got you.
I'm not doing it. And so, but this is gonna be a problem because creating classroom environment is actually one of the things it's a part of the actual job. They come in there and get to walking around the room and looking up and
With the
down the
little
class,
clipboard.
looking on clipboards, trying to see objectives and blah blah blah. I'm like, hey man, so I don't know how I'm going to navigate this, but I do. I'm excited. Like I say, it's bittersweet. I'm excited because, like I said, it's a brand. I'm going to a brand new spanking brand new classroom around the corner from my house. And the rest
So,
of my coworkers got to drive all the way from another district.
transportation wise, what does that look like for you? Does that mean you're gonna walk to school?
If I
Are
do
you
anything else but walk to school, I'm gonna look retarded. It'll literally look like pulling out of my driveway, doing one turn, not even all the way down the block, going one more block, turning right, and pulling into the parking lot.
all right? So, not what I was asking was like, were you gonna get like one of them beach combers and pedal to school?
Ooh,
Because
and get like a little electric, like a little something like just. No, I'm just gonna go ahead on and do with these extra 30 pounds that I decided to tack on, and I'm gonna roll my fat ass down this hill to work, and I'm gonna walk my fat ass right back up that hill from work. And I am so glad because see, cause the police stole my car, right? And I've been sitting up here.
I was hoping you broached that. I was hoping you broached that.
Okay, no, it's real. If you purchase something, right? No, I'm trying to say, no, come on, man. You buy something, right?
Right?
You buy something legitimate, completely buy it,
Okay.
but you don't have the permits to use it.
Correct.
Why does that mean somebody can take it from you in a way that you can't get it back?
Well, you could get it back. You just had to pay to get it unimpounded.
All right. See, that's what I'm saying. They stole it. They know I couldn't afford that. If I could have afforded to get it
And you would have had
unpaid,
it permit.
I would have had my permit. But it's mine. But it's my car. Anyway, I'm not gonna go there with you. You don't. People don't be hearing me when I say the police steal. Um,
No, we
no,
hear you.
that's an excellent idea though, because when it get like super cold, right?
Right.
But I doubt I'm finna become just a little walking person. And what I'm gonna do is now what I am gonna do is shift my day. My day
Okay.
usually began with me at the gyms in a sauna so that I
Okay.
can get my mind right, get my bearings before I go and do battle. But because I live around, but that was because my work was farther away from my house. I was gonna
Right.
have to leave a certain distance anyway. Now that my job is literally walking distance, most of my personal care is gonna be put into the evening. So instead of me rushing home
Oh,
to
no, you said
crawl to
E&J?
no, not ENJ. I ain't that
Oh,
cheap
okay.
now. I'm a rum drinker. Quit playing. Uh, instead of me rushing home, instead of me, rushing home to pass out, now I'm gonna leave work and go to the gym. And I'm gonna get all clean and stuff the night before. Because right now my cleaning regimen is the morning of work, and I'm gonna have to redo my schedule to
Okay.
accommodate. So, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm not mad at all. It's just how scary it is for black kids to change up something. They don't
I
like
don't
it.
think that's black. I think that's everybody. Most people don't like change, and guiding them through that is a exercise in trust. It's one where if you get them to believe in you, and then you then can get them to understand the mission or the goal, and then you can go from there. The believing in you part is the difficult part.
It
You know,
really is.
one. I've did I have my bosses on the show before? Or is it a
I don't think
conversation
so.
I gotta think about that. I don't can't remember if I had everybody on the show or not. But leading as a black person, and I can only speak from the male side of that because I'm a male. I've never been anything else, but um, it's difficult at times because having faith in one another is a long, drawn out battle. And I know I've seen where it's not so much with other people. You know what I'm saying? I've led teams where it was mainly us, and I've said something the exact same way as the other person said it, and the observed behavior are two different things. When I say it, People got attitude. They want to ask a million and one questions. They dragging their feet. When the other person says it, they just do it. That's tough. That's tough to live with day in and day out. But it's the path that I've chosen, and I would choose that at any time because I like to help people, and even though they may disagree in the moment, I've had way more people call me later or seen me later and thank me for what I've been able to help them see and do. So, I get it, but yeah, the change part, man, the change element is tough for a whole lot of people. That though, I don't understand, and I think I don't understand that from not only my military service but also my sportsmanship. You know what I'm saying? Like coaches change, opponents change. You just gotta adapt and overcome. When you're dead set or locked in on the the simplest things, and you allow those very small things to disrupt your whole thought process, you're losing the game. To me, that shit doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. I'm more focused on winning than I am on what you said and how you said it. If what you said is helpful to me, if what you're telling me is helpful to me, I'm more concerned about that than how you delivered it to me.
Right, because if you like, nigga, you on fire. Don't be calling me no nigga as you
Right.
burn, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
okay.
Hey, motherfucker, they shooting around the corner. They don't be calling me no motherfucker. You continue to walk around the corner. Okay.
Ain't no motherfucker. You right, motherfucker. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah. You're right. My bad. I don't know what I was thinking as I was trying to save you. My apologies. Seriously, it's like, yo, but I don't get stuck on the small shit. And I understand that's a me thing. And I understand that my me thing doesn't have to be a we thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I think you'll be fine. I think the children will adapt,
Yeah.
especially if they
I'm
find
I'm
the
a
school
baby in
more.
the game, brother Lee. I got a coworker up in that building who's been teaching more than 40 years.
Okay,
She like 60 something years old. She says she started teaching in the 60s or something like that.
okay.
And so I just look at what the hell they doing. I don't pretend. Here's the good thing about me. I don't have no while I can lead, brother Jamar, I lead from looking. I'm a collective leader. I'm not no one man knows. I don't never believe one man know hardly any goddamn thing. It's all a collective pile of information, and I am a collector. You know me, Lee. I'll sit there and get the tea. I get the tea
Mm,
when people don't even want me to have it.
mm.
I'm so in my desire to collect information, I rarely suffer from change because, first of all, this ain't shit happening to me that ain't happened before, right? And I mean that on the work realm, on the romance realm, nothing is happening to me that the whole universe ain't seen before. And
Mm.
so, and once I realized that I all I got to do is look and watch, you can avoid most pitfalls and take advantage of so many opportunities by sitting there with your eyes open, mouth closed, ears
Mouth
open.
closed.
Ears
Mouth
open,
closed.
mouth completely closed. And that's hard for me, but I still pull it off. It's hard for me to shut the fuck up. You know it is. So, but when I get through scope, and the more uncertain I am, as per my Montessori training, the quieter I am.
Mm.
The more confused I am, the more I shut the fuck up and get to looking. And by the time you get me to open my mouth, it's on an information gathering journey. I don't tell nobody to do nothing. In fact, I ask. You know who taught me that? Is
Who's that?
Neely Fuller Jr. He say don't go up to white people who are trying to treat you like shit. Talking about I'm a man. You ask them, well, why, or do you think I'm not a man? Why do you think I'm not? You pick away at that bullshit until you get to the root cause of what. of what's happening. That the why or when he explained
But
that.
the
Hmm.
but I think that may be a dying science, not because it deserves to die, but I think folk do not understand their why. I think folk more often than not, especially nowadays, are more hooked on their feelings than the actual why. And they react or they act on, well, same difference. They act on their emotions more than the truth. I think we saw that play out in the election, but we see it playing out in society as a whole. You got folks fucking around and talking about their feelings all the time. Dog, your feelings don't change the facts. As we said about 3 to 5 minutes ago, no matter what somebody said to you, if it's helpful to you, that's the important thing. So you felt a way about what I said versus listening to the fact. I just told you if you walked around that corner, they shooting. You said fuck me because I started off with, hey motherfucker, they shooting around the corner. So you feel disrespected because I called you a motherfucker versus you focusing on the fact that I also told your ass, hey dog, they shooting around the corner. So your feelings got you killed because you it overrode the fact that it was danger around that corner. And so when you say things like that, that's why I said I think that's a dying technique. Not because it deserves to die, but because we have become
It's
so
hard.
emotionally.
It's a hard work. I mean, shut up. I hate you, you fat black. Oh, what? Why? Well, why do you hate me? I hate you because you're black.
Say
What
again?
about? That's what I'm saying. This is the art. This is how he taught me to argue. When they come out, I hate you, you fat black bitch. Well, why do you hate me? Because because you're a black bitch. Well, what part of my blackness affected you? You understand? It's a
Right.
series of questions until you start picking away at the logic. There is no lot. There is no fundamental. Uh, it ain't built on shit. And so you start chipping away that feeling, like you say, I just feel a certain way. Okay, feelings is valid. Let's chip away at that. Why do you feel like you can talk to me like this? Why do you feel like you can not pay me this particular wage? Why? When I got through why and people, I think I lost friends with the why.
But but again, my point is still valid. I think that with that, you're using that method thinking that others will recognize the validity that they don't have a why. What I'm saying to you directly is in this day and time, folks' why is strictly their feelings. And if you try to go beyond that, they will consistently reject you because they don't have anything further than that. And the other side of it, they don't care just strictly because their feelings have been impacted negatively. You've activated them, you've crushed them, you've deactivated, whatever. That's all they are willing to go into. They're not willing to go beyond that. They're not willing to scratch the surface. I'm sorry, scratch beneath the surface and peel back the layers. Their layer stops at my feelings, and that's it. And there's too many people out here that are throwing their feelings in front of facts and running with because I felt I did. And I think I've said this on the show a million times. If I haven't, I'll say it now. I had a boss that pulled me to the side one day and said, "Hey man, fuck you and your feelings. This shit still need to get done. It still needs to get done. You can feel however you want to feel. That's fine. But this work still need to get done. Let's get to the work. We can talk about your feelings later." And that's real as shit. Your feelings don't change the facts. The facts are the facts. I'm never saying to you that your feelings are invalid. Never going to say that. You can feel, you should feel however you want to feel. That's fine. But that doesn't stop the fact that the game's still going on. Are you willing to play the game or not? Are you willing to
You
do
be
what's
watching the
necessary to do?
reels. You be watching the Maymays just like I do. Have you seen the new one where the dude is talking about the difference between a bitch ass nigga and a hoe ass nigga?
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, I mean the vocabulary, like one of them tone things. The vocabulary is hood in the mug, but the idea that he's trying to express is exactly the one you just expressed. The difference between a regular old dude, who's addressing his feelings with it, and a hoe ass nigga and a bitch ass nigga. These are his words, okay? Is
Mm-hmm.
there is one their ability to accept accountability, okay, it's my fault or it's my work or it's my responsibility, and secondly, the reaction they give when they are confronted with the fact that they didn't do something that they were supposed to do, or that they have something to do that they don't want to do,
There you go.
either a past responsibility they neglected or a future uh you know responsibility that they don't want to adhere to. So what they say, he say bitch ass niggas get mad and hoe ass niggas go and get other people and talk about it until he can get a group of friends together to get mad.
Mm.
But one is instantly aggressive and combative and denies, and the other one don't quite go straight off the flip. They try to get they pass that idea of how they feel like they being wronged with the responsibility around to see if they can get a consensus of people who will agree with the fact that they should not have had to do that or should not have to do that in the future. And so I
Mm.
was just sitting because if you got stopped, like once again, if you just listening to him say bitch ass nigga and hoe ass nigga, you don't understand what he's trying to the psychological and social behavior he trying to identify. But check it out. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna pop up because you know how the algorithm is. As
And
soon
you
as
know, you know it's
soon as we
listening to us.
mentioned it, as soon as we
You know
mentioned
it's
it,
listening
it's
to
gonna
us.
pop
Yeah.
up. but but he young black dude, and he's trying to explain if you do this, you a bitch ass nigga. Meaning, if you know he with her, and you go up there and behind his back, and you try to do something, you a bitch ass nigga. Because you don't, if you know, you don't do it, right? But if you wait until he break up with her, and then you ask all his friend, all y'all friend group, if you think he did it, and then now that's a hoe ass nigga.
Mm.
So he And I was like, dang, is that how and I don't know the male operating system. Like, I don't know y'all. I don't know how y'all operate. I just married y'all and was messing with y'all. I'm not one of y'all. So to hear men discuss like how the breakdown go, I was interested. I watched about three. He got like three different clips
Okay.
about how to decipher. But this exactly what you just said though. You know it's got to get done. You know we know, everybody know that you a man within the community and stuff got to get done. And so you either going to do it or you not. You either going to walk the babies or not. You going to cut your grass and grandma's grass next door or you not. You going to I don't know, man, Lee, cuz it's different. Woman's work is different. I don't know what man's work is, but you either going to do it or you ain't. And when you ain't going to do it and people start looking at you, it come with a defense. It come with a deflection and defense mechanisms. So
Yeah, that deflection is the problem for me. Like, accept your shit, man. You know what I mean? Take it. You like you said, Rashi, you either you know what you're supposed to do. Either you did it, or you didn't do it. I'm not mad at you for whatever decision you made. Don't be mad at me for the decisions I have to make based off your decision. It really is that simple. Like, but
and
I
so
get you.
and so this these are and but now here's what is not fair in my opinion. What used to be man's work, y'all's plate then got bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I don't know if it's bigger or smaller. Some of the stuff y'all don't have to do no more. Women came in and did some of the work. Y'all allowed us to come in and do some of this work. But then we put like other stuff on y'all. And what my favorite thing is, our new thing is, y'all can't be mean to us. Stop being mean to us. Stop being mean. Now I know why y'all being mean. We was tapping pockets and lying and all that. I got you. But the new thing is, oh, he toxic. He's over masculine. He's mean.
Mm.
He's a mean person. And
He's
so
a
we're
big old
now
meanie.
he's a big old meanie. So now we're trying to. We already said, oh, he can't do no. He can't change a tire or nothing. So all the men back in the day, in the 60s and 70s, they all had skills, right? You got a skill. But my son's skill level is low. We ain't ask him to change no tire. For him, we say, don't be mean to us.
But you want a real man.
But we want a real man. He got to fix something up in this
I
bedroom.
don't, I don't get it. You know, the shit don't always bounce. All right, let's get into it so we don't go too far off. And you had a great topic, waiting on Thomas to come if he's able to join still. Um, if not, I can cover a lot of the stuff that he wanted to talk about. But you wanted to discuss the
Right.
recalls that we're having with respect to
Okay, because you're
food.
going to be skinny. Me and you are not going to have any weight loss
Now,
problems.
I've lost some weight. Child,
Okay.
look, I didn't drop some pounds. Like for real. I put a shirt on the other day. I was like, oh, god dang, this fits totally different. I might not want to throw this away. I'm gonna throw it away. But because I look like that now, and 2 weeks from now, my ass will be whoop, all back up, back to where it was. But the gut is really going down. I slapped myself on the gut the other day. I was like, damn, this ain't even a pipe dream where I'm holding in some wind right about now. This mug is really going down. I got about another, I'd probably say about another 10 pounds to go. Probably say about another 10 pounds to go. Your boy be, I still be too something. But it,
Yeah,
it feels different.
well, all of us is about to lose some weight, brother, because of all these recalls.
Mm,
Because of all this food that is not being handled correctly, and so it has, or well, that's all it is. It's just food not being handled correctly. All right, so
right.
let's start at the beginning. If you eating in America, I think we about. I forgot to do that piece of research of how much food in America is American food. What would you say if I had to guess? Because I don't want to click off on my thing I'm on. What about
Actually, American,
like
I
how
would
much
say
American
I would
food
say
is
most of
grown?
our vegetables are. I would say the majority of our meat isn't. So I would say probably about 40%. Forty
Will you do
percent of
me
the
a
food that we eat
favor?
is actually American.
Will you type that in the Claude and see what he say? Because I
Yeah,
didn't
no
get to
problem.
get. Cause for the food that we do have, we have, or everybody's supposed to have a regulatory system built around the food, right? You can't
Hmm.
just do whatever you want with food, or else you'll start killing people. And we've done that before. We've had, when the whole reason why we have this Food and Drug Administration, or the United States FDA, the USDA. I'm sorry, I forgot what USDA was, but I know it's Department of Agriculture, the United States Department of Agriculture. It's because we needed somebody watching the food. If you fuck our food up, you cripple the nation. If we
Right.
play with a nation's food, that's you. All you gotta dump is something ugly in the water and start boo booing on the lettuce, and you can cripple the whole nation. Not to mention if you give that boo boo lettuce to the cow, then the cow, and then you already poured the thing on the fish, and so you look up and you didn't have to physically touch one human. But you killed thousands. So we monitor that. We monitor our food because that's what intelligent nations do in order to keep civilization pushing and caring for all the people. So one of the things that happened under this latest vein of the Trump administration is he gutted that. He gutted those departments. If there was 100 inspectors, now there's 50. If there was 50 inspectors for a particular thing, now there's 5. And he made sure to spread these people's works out so far apart so that they cannot even recognize trends that could help us catch something before it even became a national situation. So Now we have a plethora of food that has problems from boo boo to bacteria to foreign chemicals and all that because we do not have people there to come and raise up the thing and look into the machine and look at the people's hands and go out in the field and take soil and field samples. So this is the work. How do you stop people from dying from their food? The actual work is on site visitations where you go and you look at the product being harvested, you look at the facilities that's harvesting it, you look at the ground and do soil and whatnot samples to see if there's something pre existing in the soil, not even necessarily with the product itself. And so, if those people are not there, then you cannot ensure the safety of the food in any realm. You can't know that what went to the canner was right, and you cannot know what's even in your local farmer's market is right because of there's nobody there to look. So what's happening in America is we have a plethora of food that we cannot eat. And it's for a lot of different reasons. Salmonella. All right, old Sam and Ella are back doing. They're doing. They're back and they are dancing on people's guts up and down. And let me tell you how interesting it is. It's not. You know how they say because it's hard to get sick uh immediately off nacho cheese. You know what I'm saying? You got to eat a shitload of not processed nacho cheese to get sick, but you can get sick off of one salad, depending on who you
Mm.
are. Now, this is the
That's just it's
cruel
not
thing.
processed.
This is the cruel thing because they know the world knows that you're supposed to be trending healthy. We're all trying to get the gut off, or else we wouldn't be popping ourselves with Wegovy and Monjero and Ozempic and fat be gone or whatever. I call them the fat be gones. So since we are conscientiously trying to be fat be gone, a lot of us has have gone to raw foods and produce hoping that that would be that kicker that gets us to a healthy stage. Well, still do it. I say you still got to do it. It ain't like you can start existing on popcorn and nacho cheese now, but you have to be conscientious about whether or not you can do this raw or whether or not you can do this in the amounts that you're doing it. So right now, the United States.
Old dirty bastard was right. Ooh, baby, I like it raw.
Okay, I like it
Oh, baby, I
raw.
like it
And it should be raw.
raw.
In fact, most people should be eating raw. I mean, I have a go of it because I gotta cook my food to get so I can bite it with my gums and whatnot. But most people should be able to deal with raw food. It's crunchy. It's hard. It ain't like you can. You have to have a certain disposition to do the diet. So, but that diet right now is underwater, and it's as deep as look. They recalling the wheat powder, the spirulino powder that people putting in the matcha drinks.
Mm.
All right, so they going. I feel like they go. Why they going after the healthy people? But so they got it in the spirulina. They got it in the noodles. Okay, they got it in the noodles, and noodles is already for real poison. I ain't trying to be funny. Noodles is poison, but
You talking about ramen?
ramen
Noodles?
ramen noodles. Okay, all right. They finna get you, bro. They got them in the ice cream sandwiches.
Mm.
Okay, they got them in the ice cream sandwiches. Something's going on. So there's so it ain't like oh no, it's the lettuce. If you just worried about lettuce, you still gonna get sick. Okay, because lettuce is the tip. That's just the tip. It's in the processed food at the plant. They're not cleaning out. If they making more than one, you know what I'm talking about, brother
One
Lee.
batch or
If they
one type
mo-
of food.
right, if you're making more than one type of thing on the same machines, they not going in there and cleaning that shit out right. So they getting dog food in the you understand, in the cat
I
food.
understand.
They getting dog food in the cat food. So even your animals. So you saying, dang, fuck it, I'ma just eat the animal food. You can't even eat the animals food. They putting fish food in the dog food because they mixing up they not cleaning the machines properly. Okay. So you say to yourself, okay, well, what's the safe way to eat it? I can't eat it raw. I don't like it from the can. What about the frozen? Well, they go in there and we've got 3 or 4 different mixed berry, mixed fruit, frozen packets. They got the E. coli in them. They froze them in there with the E. coli. Okay, so
Hmm.
what I'm trying to get people to understand is that they saying, "Ooh, watch out for this. Watch out for jalapenos. Watch out for lettuce, right? Watch out for blah blah blah." But it's more than just jalapenos and lettuce. Okay? You can't even get you no dessert. You think you're gonna eat you some chocolate covered peanuts, chocolate covered
Whoa, whoa,
raisins?
whoa, whoa, whoa. You
It's in
talking to
the
the fat boy in me now.
it's in the chocolate covered
You
peanuts. It's in the chocolate covered raisins. Okay, and
can't
so
eat nothing.
what I would like our listeners to do, because it's always work with me. Well, that's why I ain't got no man now. Uh, go to your browser and type in fda.gov, right? Or just go to the Google browser and type in current recent recalls. Okay, they gonna give you all recalls. They gonna tell you that the battery for the walking rock'em sock'em go bot is need to be recalled too. Then you're gonna scroll down and you're gonna put they're gonna ask you to filter it. If you don't know exactly what's been recalled, they're gonna ask you to filter it. You put in food and beverage, and and whether or not they pulled it from the shelves or not, and so then you can see what is happening around you. Now, just in the month of August, we've had 6 recalls for food alone. 2 of those recalls are on food that come from other countries. And I think that's something we need to discuss very seriously, is what happens when we let that food come in from other countries. We send it to a processing plant or manufacturing plant here in our country. And maybe we don't do nothing in America but put a sticker on it, right? We put a sticker on top of a sticker, right,
Oh,
Lee?
that
Right?
happens. That
Right?
happens.
Sometimes they send it to us in the big ass truck, and your job is to put it in the brown paper bag with your sticker on it, right? But sometimes we won't even take it out the bag they gave it to us in. We just literally take our sticker, the barcode sticker, and put it on top of a barcode sticker, and we put it on the shelves, and no one at the port or at the dock or at customs, I believe that's customs, right, Lee? Nobody at the
Yes.
customs goes in and do the quality control. The dude who do the quality control testing for the shit that's coming in on the port, it was 100 of them. It's 50 of them now. He don't have time. It'll slow our economy down for us to test and look at all the shit that's coming in on the dock. So now, while we talking about fighting dope, now we didn't gave them anyway. That's a whole nother subject. So we getting hit on 3 different fronts, young people who are like to eat. If you like to eat food in this country, um,
I think it's everybody.
it might be. I seen a few folded over people that don't look like they didn't done no eating in a long time. They just high. Uh, if you like to eat, you they getting you in the soil, the actual soil. They when they picking it and whatnot. Instead of allowing them people to use the bathroom, they making them work all day. They doing that Hebrew slave shit, and they boo booing out there in that field. They kicking that boo boo dust down the field. They kicking that boo boo doo doo. Even if the people ain't doo doo and animals are, and they not coming back behind the coyotes and shit, the rabbits and shit, and spraying the animal shit off of the plants. because it ain't enough. They don't have enough people to come back and get the boo boo off the food. You still got, so now you got to wash and cook your food. You can't do it raw. Then they getting you in the cannery, right? They getting you in the manufacturing place because they not cleaning that machine well enough in between uh
Batches.
manufacturing. So you got dog food and the cat food, and then they getting you at the port because the food that's coming in at the port, we don't have nobody to go in and make sure that the motherfuckers that sent it from uh uh Turkmenistan didn't put the shit in there, and so now they only pulling one out of 1 million bags. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know, and then stick the sticker on there, and that's why you're getting plastic rice.
Mm.
If there is so much coming in on us that, as far as food is concerned, I don't think people are paying attention to just how difficult it is to eat a decent meal in this country and feel like all the components of it are there for your benefit. Even if you call yourself eating healthy, even if you call yourself eating a matcha, a double frappa rapper matcha latte spirulina frappalina or whatever, that shit got recall on it. It's got, so just be mindful by going into that recall. Look, we still don't, and here's the last part. Even the damn recall list can't be trusted because you can't put nothing on recall till the dude that we don't have do the motherfucking test on the shit. So
Okay.
it's stuff we eat now that they gonna recall in a month, but when the white man finally get caught up on his paperwork.
It is tough out here. I mean, you're right. The administration came in with a hatchet. They killed oversight. They killed a lot of regulatory functions that agencies had. So I agree with that. This is a time. I haven't seen this many recalls back to back in ever, to be honest with that I can remember. Usually, you get more vehicle recalls than food recalls, but for whatever reason, there have been a lot of food recalls here lately. So, um, I am thankful that we have caught what we've caught. It should not have gotten to that level, and I agree with you, Rashi. Like, had the administration not been so hell bent on cut off these folks or cutting out these folks, we may not be here. This stuff may never made it to market at all because it should have been stopped through inspections before it even got there. But uh,
I mean, just
hopefully, the
really
very
nothing. The meat got the hookworm in it, right? The beef got the hookworm in it. The
yeah,
fish and the shrimp already had a little mercury in it. No worries, I like mercury. But now they trying to roll it up with the Fukushima that Fukushima sauce is in there now. They testing that shrimp. You know what I'm talking about? When the Japan's blew their reactor or whatever,
yes,
so they dumped all that. We agreed to let them do what I call a compassionate release. You know what I'm
mm,
talking about, brother
hmm
Rodney? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They
hmm
took that shit and went straight into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and let it go like a little boo boo, right? And we
Pacific. But I
and we
got you.
tell them, we told them just boo boo a little at a time. Okay, so now we finally, the dude Larry finally got up on his paperwork and he tested the fucking shrimp, Larry, and now Larry said, "Oh shit, pull them." That's why they pulling the shrimp that got the Fukushima in it. I know
Okay.
I sound
No,
stupid, but I know
no,
what I'm
you don't.
talking about.
It's not about you sounding crazy. It's the
It's the
narrative
delivery.
that you
It's the
develop
delivery.
around it, and that's the funny part. Okay, cool,
So
cool,
that's
cool.
why now, but this is how they getting us, brother Rodney. But I just bought 20 big ass shrimp for $6.99. Them mugs is juicy and big, but I know they Fukushima.
That's why they juicy and big.
That's right, and that's why they was 6.99.
So this is what they doing. So even if you want to be a pescatarian, the fish got the thing on it. It's got the bacteria and stuff on it because they dumped a particular type of you got to be one of them people reading them small time articles. That's the other thing. If you really
I
want to
agree.
know, if you
I
really want to
agree.
know what the fuck's popping off, you can't wait on ABC. You got to get the Iowa Bugle. When you get the
Yes, I
Iowa
agree.
Bugle, that's when they report that Johnson's Farms, uh, blah blah blah, and that they animals did blah blah blah, and then so just know if you're not eating if the ramen noodle, if you think you're gonna survive on ramen noodle, they fucked that up too. The ramen noodle got the processing plant got some it's got little pieces of lead and shit in it. Just search it up, is what I'm telling you. If you
Okay.
think, oh, you saying I'm not gonna eat that shitty lettuce. I'm gonna survive on ramen. No. If you say, okay, fuck ramen, I'm just gonna do smoothies. No. If you say, no, I'm just gonna be like He-Man and go eggs. No. If you say, I don't eat that rabbit food shit, no way. I'm a meat man. No. No, I don't like meat. I'm just gonna be a seafood person. No. So
So, what you may or may not know is what is it, Rodney? Once a week, isn't it Thursdays? You don't eat. You only thing you eat is like fruits and nuts. Is that Thursday?
Mondays and Thursdays.
Mondays and Thursdays. Okay. So with the food recalls as of late, how does that make you think about what you're intaking the rest of the days and also on Mondays and Thursdays?
So I stuck to what I already had in the house. That was the number one thing. Didn't get anything new, and just cut out. I love salads. Love salads, and I cut out the salads because, like Rashi said, pretty much everything you put in the salad probably you shouldn't be consuming right now. So then I was like, well, what can I eat? I love vegetables, so just cooked vegetables, and not fresh though. I just it's kind of counter, but sort of in agreement with Rashi at the same time. Some processed stuff because some processed stuff get the heat. So I was like, well, I have to eat something. So I get the stuff that went to the fire and sort of have to hope for the best.
Gotcha. Thomas, I know you're out at your folks spot, and they kind of out there. Does that make you think about that type of lifestyle for you in the future?
No, nope. I don't worry about all that stuff. I think that's our problem. We're over inundated with fear. Like at some point, we just know what needs to be there. We need regulations. So I see an opportunity for job growth. They want to know how we can get jobs, get people to regulate this food,
There you go.
and open that industry back up, make that into a to a. I wouldn't give a damn if they make it into a trade, but open up some jobs. It's a job creation. Reverse some of the stuff that Deutsche did, and so that's what I see from it. I just think that you know it's a table. We can all sit at the table, but very few know what it takes to make the table. And I feel like when you have a lot of these tech guys, you have a lot of folks that are pretty much silver spoon babies. They don't know what went into making this country what it is, and they just dismantled all of those things because they didn't understand. And if they do understand, then maybe the flip side of that is it's just about their disdain for the country. So it could be both and. But you know, that's the way I look at it. I just look at it for moving forward. It's a chance for growth, and some of these jobs that people have been under the assumption that we don't need, we actually do need. And I think that's the way to look at it. Is moving forward. We know we need these things. That's it. If you want to go without it, you want to keep having explosive diarrhea. Hey, have at it. But uh, that's all I can say, man. I'm not looking to change. I think I was talking to my grandmother a while ago, and she was reminding me that up until the '70s, folks barely ate meat. 5 to 7 days a week. So that's a newer thing. People were happy with beans and rice, and macaroni and cheese was an entire meal,
Meal.
right? You didn't get macaroni and cheese and chicken, or macaroni and cheese and pork chops, or macaroni and cheese and
I
that
mean, they
became
would at least put the hot dogs in it.
no, just macaroni and cheese. And
Now,
so,
I
but
don't know about you fellas, but on the farm, we had a whole meal. It
well,
was
we,
a
we
whole
didn't grow. My people didn't have
Yeah.
farms, so you got to think about talking about somebody living in the city. And my grandmother's 93, so I'm gonna take what she's saying and her peers because they live a lot longer. Even though we're saying our lives are expanded now, a lot of those, Bill English back home, he just turned 93. And he's still out moving around in the community. He's a community activist, and he's around everywhere. But if you talk to him, meat's not like a main thing for him. That wasn't his thing. So I just look at it from the vantage point of the Trump administration fucked up the country, and there's just no way to get off of it. I don't. We can get off into all the particulars and everything else, but we just need a reverse osmosis. That's all that is.
I think too that we've been more sedimentary than we ever have been because of the advances of the car, public transportation, and well, that's not true. Not public transportation. The car and um, the television, the internet. These things have allowed us to not go outside as much as we once did. The
Yeah,
the car has allowed us to get, and the highway system has, air travel is much cheaper. It allows us to get to places a hell of a lot faster. The
yeah,
news media have convinced us, Thomas, to your point about fear, has convinced us that we need to be afraid of our own fucking shadow. So people stay in the house way more than they ever had. Uh, Communities are no longer as walkable as they once were. That's why there's a huge drive and push to get communities back to that. Where Rodney, I know we grew up in neighborhoods where we were really self-contained. The hospital, the high school, the elementary school, the middle school, the bank or banks, the grocery stores, all your shopping, but in your freaking neighborhood. Like you could walk to these things if you needed to. The push cart, and I'm talking about an actual push cart. You saw old men, old women, young folks pushing these carts with their laundry one day, and they may have groceries in it the next damn day. And that was the norm. And then you would climb several flights of stairs in order to get into your home or the building you lived in, and go from there. So there have been a lot of things I think that have egged on the decline of health as it surrounds food and our relationship with food. But two, if I don't know about you all, but the longer I stay in the house, the hungrier my ass get. Because
and,
every other damn television commercial, if it ain't about
can I say
a
something?
pharmaceutical drug and ED drug, same difference. It's a damn Burger King, KFC, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's commercial. Go ahead, Thomas. I'm sorry.
So people have lived longer now, but I love when we see. This is what I be saying about inundated with information, because we're talking about statistics and averages. Outside of what's going on in Iran, when was the last major war America was in?
What is
Was the
that?
The
last?
last,
The Persian Gulf, Operation Persian Gulf,
No, no, like
no,
the
Desert
last.
Storm.
World War II. Well, actually, Vietnam.
Yeah,
Wait a
okay.
minute,
No, it was World War II.
Desert Storm and all that don't count.
Nope.
No,
They
not
weren't
as a
real
So,
major.
wars.
Yeah,
Well,
so we
okay, we'll
go
have to
World War
talk about
II.
that some other day. Can we put a pin in that, brother Rodney? While some wars don't count, please. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. Barry. Sorry.
because there are more conflicts than wars. Like, yeah, we'll put a pin in that later. We'll come back to that later.
And the reason why I'm asking that question is because that determines life expectancy too. How many people died during World War II, and then how many people died
Mil-
during World War One?
at least, yeah, millions.
Okay, so when you add that and you put
Not
averages in the
Americans.
life, that changes the average of lifespans too. Now, without you know, but if we're talking about diets and dieting and health, Lee, I think what you're saying is real. I just realized or just found out this week that I didn't know that vitamin D wasn't a vitamin. I didn't know there was a hormone. And the idea of people not being out in the sun and moving around and doing those things, I think it has a major impact on our health. And I think that it does have an impact also on our life expectancy. Now, are people living longer? Yeah, they are. But I mean, you got to think about, why are you living much longer now? We don't have as many conflicts or wars that we had at
Pharmaceuticals.
in pharmacies. Yeah, you might be living long, but are you suffering in the process?
Right.
So I'm just saying. Um, and if you talk to me and my peers, uh, we had two things going at one time. We had teenage pregnancy, and then we also had teenage homicides. So if you feel like the expectancy is longer, for the people I grew up around, there's a lot of folks that, and Lee, you know what I'm talking about. You count folks who gone too soon, way too
True
many.
that.
And so
True that.
it all depends on where you
Yeah.
are in that process. And if you're looking at food, and again, we're looking at the food process and what's going on with the food. It's just an opportunity. I just really want my generation to really start thinking about what this world is going to look like when we run it, because we have to run it, and that's just it. We gotta understand, you can't take this shit to the grave with you. So
Well,
if you can't take it to the grave, you should be trying to figure out how you can make it better, so those that's coming behind you can actually have something, versus trying to take it to your grave. We're dealing with a generation that's trying to take all of the riches. They're gonna take it to the grave with them, but they don't care what happens.
Mm.
I'd like to
And
put a
that,
cap on it then, Lee. So if you're trying to say that the answer to our food situation is going to be to fix our administration, that's true, yeah. But many of us are going to be dead before all that gets fixed. You're going to have to take your food situation into your own hands. It's talking about transfer of information, transfer of wealth. The wealth transfer that's about to happen now is how to grow a garden and how to make your own safe food. Because if we do not, and we wait on this administration to hire the amount of people that it's going to take to get the food safe again, it's going to be far too many food casualties for no reason. So my answer to this situation that's happening, to all the recalls, to the pretty much unstable relationship we have between the consumer and the food producer right now in our country, is we're going to have to take some, not all, some of that power back. We're going to have to start processing our own, even as deep as you don't buy peanut butter anymore. You just buy peanuts and you blend your own peanuts so that you don't have to worry about things being in it that you don't want. Or you have your own garden that you protect from animals, and so you don't have to worry about fecal matter in your garden. And so please be ready, young people or whoever's listening, to uh, put more act in your own food production. Now, I don't say you finna have to dig a pond so you can have your own fish. I don't know how far that goes, but having your own chicken coop, having your own hen coop, okay. I know plenty of black women who have went in the back of those apartments and harvest some of them wood pallets that get left around in every black community, and they built a small chicken coop so that they can have them a chicken every I think you can get a chicken every 2 or 3 months. So
But Rashi, let me ask
this,
this question.
this is might be where we headed, if we cannot immediately hire the people who we're going to need to get this food situation back right.
But if your federal government is purposely trying to kill you off, you think they're gonna make it legal for you to be able to do those chickens and things, or they're gonna come up regulations for you not to do it? Like, the fact of the matter is, we're not looking at the intentionality of what's happening, and I feel like intentionality matters. Every time I say these people hate this country, we try to talk about all the other particulars, but the fact of the matter is, if you got somebody trying to destroy something and they're doing a good job of destroying it, you can get into the minutia about all the other shit, but does it really matter? They are achieving their objective while you are intellectually masturbating on what a wonderful world it could be. That's not what it's going to be, because they are purposely taking these things out. And that's just what it is. And their intentions, they're hitting their marks. The only thing that I'm saying is, you got to figure out what it will be after you take these things out, and you got to figure out how to put these pieces back together. Because again, it's a lot different sitting at the table compared to putting the table together. And I feel like that's the part in America that we lacked on because we're such a consumer based society that we're not producers. And now we got to learn how to produce. And by the way, the people that we're kicking out of the country are the producers.
The producers.
You're kicking the producers out. So if you want to know why you got explosive diarrhea because of the lettuce, you got rid of the producers. If you want to know why the farms are going through all these problems, it's because you got rid of the farm hands. So we have to ask ourselves if this is the even exchange in the ecosystem amongst humanitarians, then we should let those people come in that can tend to those farms, even if they're crossing the border. They have a skill set that most Americans don't have. Does not mean that Americans should develop other skill sets, but if you're saying that you're a superpower, you can't necessarily go back to treating everything like it's a third world country neither. So, but thanks Trump, thanks Elon, and the rest of those nerds, because this is really revenge of the nerds.
Speaking of, um, to get and move the conversation more in that direction, east and north, Congress has called their recess for 5 weeks. The funding of the government resolution just passed. Obviously, they were trying to get that in and under the radar before the midterm election, so it wasn't anything hung around their necks as they being the Republicans try to hold on to control of both the House and the Senate. But those things are being challenged not just through the electorate, but also through some bonehead behavior from some senators. Thomas wanted to talk about uh, domestic violence, and it really centered around Congressman Max Miller. Thomas, I'll shut up and let you lead.
Well, the Max Miller situation is an interesting conversation. It intersects in three different things. Here is the three. The first thing is domestic violence. Because Max Miller has put a gun to his ex-wife head, allegedly, in the process of throwing scalding hot water on the ex-wife and the daughter at the same time. And it intersects with the father-in-law, who is also the Senator Moreno of Ohio, same district. And Senator Moreno not saying much about it, even though this has been happening the past few years, because he's worried about people finding out that he likes to shop for boys on Grindr. And it intercedes into the third rail of Republicans in the hypocrisy. The idea that someone that is, a senator that's a part of this MAGA movement, but also is gay, to hold his secret, he's willing to have his daughter abused. And I feel like that is something, all three is a hell of a lifetime series. But if we're talking about domestic violence and the amount of abuse of women that are taking hands at the Republican Party, I think that needs to be studied, because this is not the first, this ain't the second, this ain't the third. I think this is the fourth one we've had thus far this year who are in elected positions. And it says a lot about the party because they're not asking Max Miller to step aside. They're not. And that shows you that by any means necessary, they're going to hold on to that power. And that to me is troubling. That to me is problematic, because it also lets you understand the bigger issue with the Epstein files. It's about the power. They can care less if women or children or minorities or animals are being abused. This is about power. And if the voters in Ohio really understood what was going on with both, not only Max Miller, who is the abuser, who does seem like in interviews there's something wrong with him, some things are not clicking upstairs, but also with Marino and the idea that he would allow his daughter and granddaughter to go through this. Because here's the truth. He said he'll do anything for his daughter and his granddaughter. Well, you should have said something. And if that meant you step down because your party is not going to vote for you because you're gay, then you give up that position for your child and your grandchild, if that's really what you care about.
So let's. I'll circle back to the allegations of his sexuality, but let's talk about the Max Miller affair. Not only is he alleged to have thrown hot water at wife, his ex-wife. I'm sorry. He's also alleged to have thrown her up against a wall, like you said, holding a gun to her head.
Mhm.
CPS was called out to investigate why the daughters, he and ex-wife daughter, her collarbone was broken. Though local police did not find conclusive evidence, um, they
Sure.
labeled it specifically as insufficient. A leaked body cam footage showed the CPS noting a bruise resembling a handprint near the injury. He being the Congressman Max Miller, accidentally released a naked picture of his toddler daughter during a live stream, which was supposed to show his vindication. Additionally, if you don't remember, he and Stephanie Grisham, who was the former White House press secretary, she accused Miller of physical abuse during their relationship, and she filed a temporary restraining order against him after a lengthy legal battle. High school classmates came forward with information about an instance in which he threw a girl out of his room, causing her to fall down a flight of stairs. His former father-in-law called him unfit for office and a danger to his family. Mike Johnson, to your point, trying to hold on to power, has called the allegation serious, but asked that the Congressional Ethics Committee continue their investigation and then he make a decision after that investigation came to completion. Now, there's a Trump has publicly publicly referred to the claims as just allegations and opted not to call for Max Miller's resignation. As of yet, his campaign is suffering. A local Republican group was had him as their headliner for an event, and they canceled that event due to concerns of safety and uh, they were receiving threats. Democrat Brian Poindexter is now leading Miller by 14 points in the latest poll in that district because of these allegations. All of that to say, I saw an op piece that said Max Miller knows that these uh, um, these allegations do not mean the end of his career, and that's the sad part. What you were getting to, Thomas. This is not the first time that something like this has happened in this election cycle, and folks have been very hardened by the support that they've gotten along the way. This is a opportunity for all of us to peek into inside the inner workings of our Congress on both sides of the aisle and see what these folks are about. When allegations have been levied against the Democrats have forced their candidates out. We had such in what was that Maine not too long ago when the one cat that was leading the polls they forced his ass out right before the election. They had to scramble and find a replacement candidate in order to put on the ticket. Um, there have been others that have resigned along the way for whatever reason. These Republicans have chose to demonstrate the same fight and denial tactics that POTUS has displayed, and this is where it leaves us. But I say again, these are the folks that say they are about law and order. These are the folks that say they are about family. These are the folks that say they are about protecting children. Yet this is what they show us. What do you pay more attention to? the verbiage or the actions? That's the question for the American people as we go forward, not just with the midterms, but as we turn our sights to 2028.
Well,
And
you know, it's
I just
interesting.
where we
Max
are.
is the grandchild of a billionaire. So Max got juice, baby.
Mm,
Max got money. And his father and his mother are embedded in that area of Ohio. So you can't just get rid of old Biff there. Biff got money. And that's what this is about. Biff could his family can spend checks to wreck a whole lot of stuff if folks don't look the other way for Biff here. I'm
mm.
saying Biff because you know we're talking Revenge of the Nerds here.
Right. I was with you. Yeah, right. So who is this new Attorney General then? Because you know he in the game too. He in the game. He in the nerd game too. Why would they hire him?
Well, that's this different than Marine. This is different than Miller because Miller is not Trump's personal lawyer. That guy's Trump's personal lawyer. What it is with Miller is that Miller is committing things that typically you want to distance yourself from. Uh, Blanche is he's kind of like the accessory to the crime for Trump. He covers the body. He's the cleanup guy. So that's the difference between the both of them. But you know what I'm saying with this situation with Miller, and you're right, Lee, about them talking about being a party of families, the party of morality, and all of these things that they've espoused for so long, and also the anti-homosexuality party too. Let's keep this in mind because the reason why this was able to go for so long is because the father-in-law is a closeted homosexual.
Okay. So let's dig into that. All right. So back in 2008,
Allegedly.
there you go. An Associated Press investigation revealed that the profile seeking casual encounters with men on Adult Friend Finder was created in 2008 using an email account tied directly to the center. One of the interns came forward and said that he created the account as a prank. It has been maintained by the campaign and the legal team of the senator that this is the explanation for said site or said profile, whatever. Now, we can all use our own judgment and figure or think or ponder or assume that this is cover for the senator. I think that as pressure gets applied to Max Miller, we may know more and more about if it was just a prank or if he is willing to spill the tea about his father in law, um, whatever that tea may be. But yeah, again, this stemmed from an incident in 2004 when the profile was created. The story ran in 2008 from the Associated Press, and that's where we are right now. It is alleged that the email account was tied directly to the senator, and again, a intern on the campaign came forward and said, "Oh no, I did it as a prank." But
Yeah, because the son-in-law wouldn't know you. I mean, this is
eh,
I mean, because that's how guys joke. We joke.
correct.
We're gonna set you up a grinder account
Yeah,
under
for real, we don't joke like that.
and the whole nine, and the whole time
Guys don't joke.
your daughter getting the shit kicked out of her, and you ain't saying nothing. But it's because of the prank that you really ain't saying nothing. While this congressman is doing this to your daughter, right? Because you just going along with the joke, because it's a he ha ha type moment, right?
Rodney,
Uh,
you played the joke on somebody like that, right? You set up a adult friend finder account for him, with the email address. I mean, this is common, right? It's a prank, right? This is what we do, right?
You didn't check yours lately?
That's what I was about to say. How many transactions on that motherfucker? Cause see, a prank, I see men being silly enough to do that shit. But how many of them? I
No,
just do. You know,
no,
cause it's not
no.
not.
Not
But how
black
many of
men.
them how many of them transactions is on there? Cause now we talking about something else.
Rashi,
Uh,
if you're a senator and somebody that is your aide played that on you, you would not only fire that person, but you would bury that person so deep that that person would probably be on suicide watch.
For
And you
real.
got to
That
understand,
that ain't cool.
this is the Republican Party. Why would you run that joke, and why would he allow that joke? That would show a sign of weakness in the senator for him to allow that to take place. And he doesn't have to be homophobic or something, but you know your party principles, and everybody that's working in your office, they supposed to tote that line. And if they can play with that line, then that's what it is. Now, I don't think it was a prank. I think they found somebody who they gave $100,000 to donate $8,000. That's just what I think. And that person, it'll be favored for that child somewhere down the line. They overlook that person because they came up with a good lie or tried to with the good lie for the Senator Moreno. Again, the question is, what will we do for power? Because the sin is not him being gay in this situation. The sin is to allow somebody to beat on your child and your grandchild because you're hiding the fact that you're gay. And I feel like that's the part of the story that really matters.
not the part where you broker somebody's sexual orientation until and then hurt their child. He's the villain. He's the villain. Make sure that the person who's doing the deed stays the villain. Uh, but so are we gonna shift off? Or we gonna beat that brother into the ground? Brother Rodney, you said you wanted to discuss the attorney general. That we got a spanking brand new attorney general right now.
Well, I didn't say I wanted to talk about the AG,
He
but
asked that we broach it. So
it,
the AG was Blanche was confirmed 50 to 49, straight down party lines, with the exception of two Republican senators defecting, Collins and who was it? The sister from Alaska,
Murkowski.
Mark Murkowski. They were the only defections. The most surprising thing about this for me was Fetterman stuck with the damn Democrats. He didn't defect and vote with the Republicans. Um, I
He,
always
he
thought it was
he
going to go
didn't
to.
have to because they had the votes.
I got you, but I always thought it was going to go to party lines, and it did. It went exactly how I thought it was going to play because the two holdouts were the ones that were keeping him from crossing the line, knowing that they were going to have two defections. And here we are with someone who is not qualified for the job, who is strictly a yes person for the POTUS, whom is a danger to all of us because he is such a yes person to POTUS. I fear that as we continue this trend, this deadly trend, literally and figuratively, of black bodies coming swinging from trees yet again, like it's the fucking 1800s, that justice will not be served, especially to those of us that look like us. I fear and wonder how deep these folks will run us amok and astray from the trajectory that we have been on for the past 50, 60 years. Not one that I would say a reconciliation, because I don't believe that is fully possible yet in America, but at least one of some degree of appreciation and or respect. They have not they have not shown that to anybody or anything that they that has not agreed with them in any shape or form. The fact that Trump ordered panels put up at museums saying that some of the displays are not totally accurate is ridiculous. Um, but this is what you get when you have the rogue state that we're living in. Right, Rodney, you can say it. I was going to stop and come to you anyhow because your reaction about the other thing I was going to say. I said so. What's your thoughts?
Well, as you was, I guess, musing about them and what they're going to do, 45 wrote, I believe, two executive orders mitigating birthright citizenship, even though the Supreme Court told him not to. And he has kids in concentration camps, even though the courts told him not to. Um, it's not about how far they're going to go, because they're going to go as far as they can go. It's about how, when are we going to stop them, because they're not going to stop on their own. Stephen Miller says we need to have over 100 million less people in this country. Well, if you allow people to die from lack of vaccines and food illnesses, and you're deporting everybody and their brother, I remind people that black people got their citizenship, it's birthright citizenship. Otherwise, would be African. So, and that was an executive order. So they're going to go. They don't want us here. They don't like us. They don't mind harming us. And Frederick Douglass was pretty clear: is when you allow things, when you allow your oppressors to oppress you, they will oppress you to the extent that you will allow. And right now, we're allowing them to kidnap us. We're allowing them to brutalize and victimize us. We're allowing them to take our First Amendment rights, our uh, Fifth Amendment rights. Heck, we're allowing them to take now our 13th Amendment rights as they move on to 14th and 15th. So they're not stopping. They declared war on us. I think we should, no, I know we should recognize that a war has been declared on us. And every time there's another body found swinging from a tree, and not just that, but that's just an example, that's another casualty of war. And we should call it what it is.
Besides the vote, what do you see a counter being to that war? Step a little closer to the mic too.
The power has always been in the people, and the people have to realize they're the power. The elected officials are not our leaders, they're our employees. They're supposed to do our will. So, as always, I'm a large proponent of education. We cannot expect people to do what they don't know. We cannot expect people to know what's not taught, what's not demonstrated. So, every week when I'm at the gathering, and in the community too, I hear people say stuff that's so far from the fact. Um, we don't, we have to control our narrative. We have to establish our narrative. That's why podcasts and streaming platforms are getting so popular with younger people, is because they feel like they can, you know, those people they know, and they can get the truth from them. People even said they come from the gathering so they come to the gathering so they could hear what's real, what's fact, something that they could quantify and qualify. So education and information, which are two things that are under attack, and education falls under history. These things are under attack. School boards, that's going to be one of the most important battle arenas this coming school year. But are we there? Black people have to get in the game. Now, it doesn't have to look like it used to look, but black people need to get in the game.
Well, I mean, I don't even think they know what the game is, and why what just happened is not a good thing. So, okay, just hold on one second. The Attorney General represents the United States in legal matters generally and gives advice and opinions to the president and to the heads of the executive departments of the government. Okay. Also, if shit get real, they go in front of the Supreme Court, and they, put the case in front of the court so that we can have uh, change within the nation, right? All
Mhm.
right. So essentially, this is a legal office. This is a these are lawyers who get this, and Todd Blanche is it, if he can represent. I sound like I'm on his team, but I'm not. But if Todd Blanche could represent Teflon Don, he's you know they said, okay, you at least a lawyer, unlike that lady that was, there before or whatever before her. So they put this gentleman in there so that he can deflect and uh whatever he do for Donald Trump, he gonna do for us as a nation now.
No, I disagree. Remember, he was the president's former personal lawyer. So they have a relationship that and the tie that's a hell of a lot stronger than his relationship and tie to the everyday American. This is supposed to be the attorney general is supposed to be the defender of the American people. She is supposed to advise and guide the Justice Department as a whole on what needs to be taken up by them with respect to civil lawsuits, cases, whatever, and defend us against whatever acts or new stipulations that the legislative branch are supposed or are wanting to enact against the people. He or she is supposed to be that person that says, "Hey, this is legal or this is not legal." When you have an alignment of the two, like you do right now, that is a problem for all of us as a whole, because he or she, in this case, he will be a puppet and a yes person to whatever the executive and or legislative branch want to do, and that is a problem. This is a situation where, let's say, Breonna Taylor, we view that as a hate crime. The Justice Department may say, nope, not a hate crime. That's it. What you mean? It's clearly a hate crime. No, not a hate crime. We don't believe in that right now. And things like that, whatever those things may be, will go unpunished accordingly. So you may have folks that get a more favorable sentence if they get a sentence at all, because the DOJ may choose not to pick up the case at all, may choose to allow folks to just be killed, may choose to allow entire communities to be wiped out like they once did. That's the role and responsibility of the Attorney General of the United States of America, and to have one that is in such an alignment with the current president of the United States of America is a problem. That should be alarming to us all, because
So
it can go into any. I got you, Thomas. Give me 1 second. That can go into anything. It can go into how they view small businesses. It could go into how they view what can or cannot be done in your church, in your home, in your school, in your hospital. Doesn't matter. That should be very concerning and alarming to all of us, because we understand the person that sits at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and he is a person that relishes in um, uh, he is a person that relishes in adornment. He likes to be loved upon repeatedly and heavily. And if you don't show him that, he you fall out of favor with him. So yeah, that is a problem. Go ahead, Thomas.
so I think the ultimate issue is the senators. And I got a
Absolutely.
chance to listen to Lawrence O'Donnell the other night. And Lawrence had said something that I never thought about. He talked about how these senators position themselves as if they're going to fight, whether it's Tom Tillis, it's the senator inside of Louisiana, the senator inside of Texas, Murkowski or Collins, whatever the case. And what it is, this is about the job after the job. And they want to be able to become lobbyists. And if you were a senator, and maybe you guys out there know, or you maybe not know, as a former United States senator, you have access to go on the floor anytime you need to lobby for the firms that hire you. And you want to go out on a good terms with the party so that you can have that access. So when you see these senators who are voting for Blanche, they're voting for their next job. And again, this goes back to what I'm saying about Marino. And I think that if we get the theme that is happening here is right or wrong is being mortgaged for self progression.
Mm-hmm.
This is about because Blanche was recommended by a federal district judge, to lose his license to practice law. So that shows you what type of lawyer he is. So if he can't practice law in a state, why the hell would you put him over the federal government? That's the question. It's the reframing, and it's these narratives. And I think sometimes the narratives are always kind of framed in a way that kind of have us missing the mark. And I'm blaming national media for that, because that will be the question. Qualification is what the conversation of DEI was about. Remember, they were saying people were just getting handed jobs. Well, damn, this is how you hand somebody a job in front of everyone. He's not qualified to be an attorney based off of his ethics and the way that he practices. So what makes him,
Or lack thereof.
well, what would make him become an attorney general? And I feel like framing it that way, and then we're about to watch the fallout, because we know the slush fund is coming back. We also know that the idea of the Trump family not being prosecuted for the deal with the IRS, we know that that's going to continue too, right? So we know that all of these things are taking place right in front of our eyes. But what we have to understand is that these Republicans never were going to buck the system, because they want their next seven-figure job to stick. And that's what this boils down to, which I think is a travesty.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. But Rashi, hopefully that clarifies that a little bit
It
for
does.
you.
I mean, I understood the idea of it be him being an advisor, but I was like, so I went to the because they put out the Attorney General office put out their own press releases or whatever. So I started looking at the press releases that they put out. If you go to the if you type in Attorney General or whatever and you click on the office and you look down and show the press releases, and they were talking about like cases that are open with rounding up with the cases that ICE get the fish they catch in the ICE net. You know what I'm saying? And they talking about they had a nerve to put on there that they rounding up abusers. Now we just got through starting this damn conversation. Talking about the dude abusing his family, and now they talking about for abusing your family you could get put out the country. So, anyway, the irony of it all. When you look at some of the cases they have there in the list and some of the news press releases they have, then you can get an idea of the focus on like what they own. You know what I'm saying? And what how they report it, how they spend it, give you an idea of what they own. Now here's the problem with the United States. Once you get into that particular story, now you got to go to the other newspapers in that particular town or whatever and see how it was reported there, right? Because it's cases about rape and whatever and people doing it. The Department of Justice does a lot, so I'm interested to see because it's almost now. He used to be a lawyer for the bad guy, right? But now, in theory, don't he work for the United States of America?
In theory, yes. But the actual factual is something different.
So I want to see how I yeah. Let's see what that looks like when you beholden in the past, and then you get a job where you have to you can you may they may come. Okay, how am I saying this? He may have to do something against his homie that hired him, and then what?
He's not. He's not. The thing has been that he's a
Right.
loyalist, and he's going to tote the line. And so the thing is, the attorney general was never to be the attorney for the president. These cabinet positions are not supposed to be beholden to the president. They're supposed to work for the country and the citizens. And they also supposed to be checks and balances even over the president saying, hey, sir, you can't go this far. Hey, sir, you're doing too much. Hey, sir, that this is a violation. Hey, sir, you can be impeached on this. Hey, sir, you can be court martialed on this. That's what we're missing. And what we're missing even more by that, Siri saying, okay, uh, this is scary stuff with all this shit. But, the problem with what we're seeing in front of our eyes is the fourth rail. And the story that came out today about the media, and they're talking about CBS and 60 Minutes, and how over at 60 Minutes, how they have them reporting things that's not even true to cover up things for Trump. And so when you don't have a Senate and you don't have a Congress that's willing to hold the president in check, we're on a road to disaster.
Mm,
When you start talking about
well,
having to hold a president in check is a disaster. The
Well, you got to
president
take
is
power.
the
You got to
level
take power.
head. The president is supposed to be the level headed mediator, not the guard dog that we have to keep on a chain. So just the fact that you have to say keeping a president in check is indicative of what the problem is. So somebody else is going to have to be. So who did we put up in there with him? Like everybody got a lieutenant job. Who's the minion up under Todd Blanche?
Anybody that Trump wants. So there is nobody. There is no good in this story. And again, I want to say this while saying there's no good in the story, but there is opportunity. And the opportunity is getting rid of these people so that we can put people in positions that can do the right thing. And because they're screwing up so much, man, we might need three attorney generals to get out of this shit.
so uh, I will find out who the deputy attorney general is, but I want to pivot shortly south and then west to Tennessee. So in the Tennessee 9, the House district, Justin Pearson won the Democratic nomination. That was the gerrymander district, which was in the past majority black. It's now 71% Republican. I'm not saying black or not, but 71% Republican leaning. The Republican side, the nomination was won by state Senate rep Brent Taylor, who has the backing of Donald Trump. So we will see what that looks like in November. There were a couple of horses that Trump bet on actually lost their primaries on Tuesday. I can't remember exactly where. I did not write all of them down. I was focused more on Tennessee than anybody, to be honest with you. Um, I think, regardless, though, to your point, Rodney, the people are flexing their muscle. The people are coming out. The people are showing up and doing their due diligence at the polls. I hope this energy continues again, not only up and through November, up until November, I'm sorry, but through November as we spew over into the 2028 election, not just for president, but also for the other congressional members, Senate or Congress, whom will be up for reelection at that point. There was a question from a reporter yesterday about Trump's potential endorsement of Vance for 2028, and Trump rebuffed it. He was like, we're too far out for that. It's not time to talk about that yet." I thought that was also telling because he didn't even give Vance a any sort of nod, any sort of support whatsoever. He completely shut that conversation down, which may be telling about his plans in the near future. But with 6 minutes left, I want to give everyone an opportunity to say what they wanted to say or needed to say before we wrapped up. Rashi, you can start since you and I started the show.
I was able to get my voting done this year at our local elections. It was quite
Go
interesting.
ahead, girl.
I went on ahead and stood up in there, and it was a lot of stomping happening. I think that's what you call it when you be outside of the polls. Somebody, hey man, don't go in there and vote for that cracker. and all that other stuff. So there was a lot of that contentious kind of screaming out, heckling out there. And I just thought it was interesting how fired up and ready to go we are and how much work there is to be done, until then. In the meantime, take advantage of this tax free. We're about to run up on tax free weekend here soon, and whether it's for your grandchild or your nephew or whatever, if you wanted to get something for them, school related or educational related, from the calculators, whatnot. Now, this is now actually a good time, not Black Friday. This is actually a good time uh, because they have relieved the taxes on that. If you have children in your purview, they not in school already. It's almost that time. Get that sleep
Okay.
schedule right. Stop letting them watch TV a blessed night, and please, get them on a regimen of hygiene and rest. All right.
Okay. Rodney.
Look up the definition of kakistocracy because that's what we have in America today, and that's what we need to defeat. It. Look up fascism and compare it to what's going on in America today. The only thing that will defeat this is the people. And in going forth, be prepared for violence because it's always been some form of violence when we've had times like this and when a dictator or despot gets desperate. And this one is starting to get desperate because he's losing his base. A big shout out, yesterday was National Purple Heart Day, and we lost 18 people in this non-war that kills people just the same, with hundreds, if not thousands, injured. The reason why I mention this, other than just the fact of it, is that some of them were killed and injured, but the POTUS said that it wasn't during war, which means they could not receive benefits that they are due. And it's going to take the American people to stand up for our military because they cannot stand up for themselves. It will take the American people pushing our electeds to make sure that the conditions on the Abraham Lincoln, USS Abraham Lincoln, is not the future for our military. It's time for the
Mm.
people to stand. It's time for the people to use their voice. It's time for the people to act and definitely use their vote, but be prepared for violence and oppression and voter suppression at the polls.
Uh, Rush. Not Rush. You already went. Thomas.
Perception versus reality. We're inundated with social media influencers who are pushing perception versus reality. People need to tap into reality because the perception that we're being sold is costing us families, it's costing us money, it's costing us our mental and emotional well being, and it's okay to be tapped into reality. Perception versus reality. I don't read fictional books for a reason because I like reality. There's nothing wrong with a little reality.
We said something about that in the beginning of the show. Like you can feel however you want to feel. That does not change the facts. And we still need to move according to the facts, not our feelings. I will end it on this note. You know, life be life. That does not mean that you stop fighting. Until next week, family. We love you and a damn thing you can do about it. Until then, all right. I need to get the moving. I got to move it, move it. I got to move